I first saw this earlier this year at the New York Auto Show, and now I'm finally able to check out what the hype is all about. This is the Hyundai Ioniq 5N. It's a head turner like no other. Whoa. 20-year-old me would be like, oh, that's so cool. Come on, any day, thank you. We're driving the Hyundai Ioniq 5N. It's a subcompact SUV, and it's all about performance. I know 20-year-old me would love this car, but 40-year-old me, we'll find out. It's a compact crossover SUV. There's only one trim, that's the N obviously. It starts at $66,100. The Ioniq 5N has an 84 kilowatt hour battery, and that gives it a range of 222 miles. Just for comparison, the Toyota BZ4X I just test drove recently has a smaller 74.1 kilowatt hour battery. The 221 miles of range is kind of low, but the trade-off here is all the performance. It's super low, but it's really fun to do this. Oh God. Okay, well, it's busy here. I'm charging up the Ioniq 5, and we started out at 32% level. It told us it's gonna take roughly around 23 minutes to get up to 80%. I think that short amount of time, it's a good amount. In a week, I've been test driving the Ioniq 5, and it's getting an efficiency of roughly 3 miles per kilowatt hour. As I always say, 3 is that sweet spot, because anything less, you're really not getting the most efficiency out of your battery. It's right at the cusp, and that could be due to the performance of the electric motor. You get the trade-off of, yes, the lower efficiency, but at the same time, you get that sporty and aggressive feel. So it's up to you if that's worth your investment. I want to talk about my experience charging it at home. I only have level 1. I tried connecting it. At first I thought it was going to work, but it didn't. And I tried a couple different outlets outside. It still didn't work. So I contacted Hyundai, and they told me it could be something with my circuit breaker, whether it's an appliance or something else connected to that outlet or that line that's drawing too much power, which is the reason why it wouldn't charge properly. I had the same issue with the Kia EV9, but I've tried other EVs like the Kona, and that one worked perfectly. When it comes to design, it's striking. It sets it apart from every other EV out there. The blue matte paint job, it makes it look clean. The color stands out, and it has a nice contrast with everything else around the front and back. You got the trim accents like the black and the orange. Everything about it just makes it look sporty, aggressive, and unique on the road. Another thing that makes it sporty are the 21-inch wheels. These are actually bigger than the 20-inch wheels I saw in the BZ4X not too long ago. And you also have things like the flush handles, which I love. Also the mirrors, they fold in and out. Look at the back. It looks like racing stripes all around, has hard angular lines, nice aggressive look in the back. You also have this spoiler here, again, going with the sporty touch. Around the front, you also have the aggressive grille. You have the projector LED lights, really bright, love them. And you have all these intakes, flaps, they open up, they help with the airflow for the battery. And on the inside, it also continues that theme of sportiness. So the seats first, they have bucket seating, so you really sit into those seats. Check out the steering wheel. It also has a lot of buttons, has that sporty look. You have the flaps here. These are usually for the regen brakes, but they also double as the shifters for the electronic shifting system here. And you have the buttons, the bright reds, the blues, kind of intimidating, but that's the appeal about it. I thought that was cool, but the sounds are all on the inside. So the roar of the engines, no one else hearing except for me. Bummer. Let's see, supersonic, ready? Sounds just like ignition. Don't notice that much? No? Classic old NASCAR. Sport is the key because there's a lot of fun things I haven't seen in other EVs that the Ioniq 5N does. For example, the acceleration in pretty much all the modes, even eco mode, it's tight, responsive. With that end green boost, sporty mode, it just kicks. You get that jump right ahead, and it just gives you that intense feeling. And you see that too in things like the dashboard cluster. They've changed it up. It's not your typical clean looking one. It kind of emulates the look of a traditional sporty car. You have the dials here, and as you rev that engine, you see the dial go up. The G-force meter, or an accelerometer. On the inside, the bucket seats makes me feel like I'm sunk into the seat itself. It kind of matches, of course, the aesthetics, the feel of the car. You have also the pinstripes around, the stitching. It gives it that nice racing touch. I'm actually surprised with the back seats. It's pretty roomy, a lot of leg room there, and you could also fold down the seats, of course, so you have more trunk space. One of the features I'm surprised it does come with is the blindside mirror camera. So I'm turning, it activates it. It's a little bit on the tiny side though, I gotta say. I was expecting it to be a little bit larger, so it could be tough to see what's going on. Just like other EVs I tested, the smart cruise control is perfect. You could activate it real quick, just press a button, it'll keep you in the center of the lane, maintain the distance, applies all the necessary braking and acceleration, and I think it's pretty smooth. It's not really abrupt with the stopping and going, so it gets the job done. It's one of those features I've come to love because when you're at stop and go traffic, it actually helps out. And on top of that, you actually get better efficiency when you use it. Unfortunately, one of the downsides of the Ioniq 5N is that it has a very narrow turning radius. So when I'm making turns, I gotta make sure I gotta do them early because it's not as wide as other EVs I've tested. Sometimes if I don't do it properly, I could hit the back of the wheel as I'm making that turn. Another thing I'm kind of disappointed about here is that it has only manual seats, all of them, not just the front seats, the passenger seats, the driver seats, also manual. And that's something for this price point I think is not acceptable. And it's also missing other premium features like the digital rear view mirror, the heads-up display, and also auto parking. Clearly, Hyundai is attracting car enthusiasts with the Ioniq 5N. Yes, it's one of the best looking EVs I've come across, but it doesn't hold up to the value I see in some other EVs I've tested. If performance and customization is all that you crave, then definitely think about this, just as long as you can afford it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Is it one of the best looking EVs? Don't forget to watch our other videos on the channel, like the EV9 and also the BZ4X. Make sure to follow us on social @TomsGuide. I'm John V, and I'll see you in my next video.